Hey everyone, and welcome to the John Louis Memory School. Today, we are going to unlock a secret that, honestly, changes everything about learning: the art of motivation. This isn't about studying harder. Nope. It's about turning learning from a chore into a full-blown adventure. So, let's kick things off with a really powerful question from the memory grandmaster John Louis himself. He asks, how do we shift students from the bitter mindset of memorizing to the excited mindset of discovery? I mean, think about that. That single question is the bedrock for everything we're going to talk about today. It's all about flipping that switch, right? All right, so here's the game plan. We'll start with the heart of the John Louis method. Then we'll dive into what he calls the power of a hook. After that, we get our hands dirty with some amazing tools, questions and stories, then connections and surprises. And to wrap it all up, we've got a little challenge for you. Ready? Let's dive in. All right, first up, the John Louis method. This is the big idea, the core philosophy. It's all built on this one fundamental shift: getting away from the drudgery of just memorizing facts and moving into the absolute thrill of discovering new ideas. And this is absolutely crucial. Motivation isn't just some nice little bonus you tack on at the end. No, it's the very first step. John Lewis has a great name for it: the hook. It's what you do before a lesson even begins that can completely transform a room from a place of duty into a space for discovery. It literally gets the brain ready and eager for new information. Okay, so we've established we need a hook, but why? Why is that little bit of motivation before the lesson even starts so incredibly powerful? Let's break down what's actually going on here. This isn't just about feeling good, it's smart learning science. You see, a great hook does so much more than just grab your attention for a second. It immediately creates a more positive, less stressful environment. It answers that question we all have in the back of our mind: why does this even matter to me? It provides that context. And on a biological level, it actually primes the brain, getting it ready for what's next. And maybe the best part? When you do this over and over, you build a foundation of genuine, long-term curiosity. Okay, enough theory. It's time to get practical. Let's look at the first two amazing techniques in John Lewis's toolkit for creating that hook: the simple power of a good question and the timeless magic of a story. So, technique number one is the provocative question. Now, this isn't about testing what you know. It's more of like a puzzle, Something designed to challenge what you think you know and create that little itch in your brain that just has to be scratched. Okay, picture this. Your math teacher walks in, but instead of writing some dry formula on the board, they ask this: using only a meter stick and its shadow, how would you measure the height of this building? See? Right away, you're not just sitting there, you're thinking, you're visualizing, you're already in the game, you're problem solving before the lesson has even officially started. All right, technique number two taps into something so human: the engaging story. We are just wired for narrative. You can give me a list of facts and figures, and I'll probably forget them by tomorrow. But tell me a good story, that'll stick with me. It creates an instant emotional connection. It's really just the art of taking dry facts and wrapping them in a compelling story. So think about it. Instead of just listing Gregor Mendel's discoveries about genetics, what if you told the story of this curious monk in his garden trying to crack a code that nature had laid out for him? The facts are exactly the same, but the experience is on a completely different level. All right, let's keep digging into this toolkit. The next couple of techniques are all about making learning stick, making it feel personal, and just unforgettable. Okay, technique number three sounds so simple, but wow, is it powerful. Connect to their world. The whole idea here is to build a bridge from whatever abstract concept you're teaching directly to a student's own life, their own world, and what they already know and care about. Let me show you what I mean. So you're teaching physics, right? Instead of just talking about forces in the abstract, you talk about the physics of a cricket match. What happens when that bat hits the ball? Or for geography, instead of just pointing at trade routes on a map, you have your students look at the tags on their clothes. Suddenly, global trade isn't some far-off concept. It's right there in the room with them. Okay, up next is one of my absolute favorites. Technique number four, the surprising fact. There's just something about our brains. When we hear something unexpected, we just snap to attention. A surprising fact makes us lean in and say, wait, what? We need to know the story behind it. All right, look at this number: $35. Now, in a world of giant billion-dollar companies, what on earth could this possibly represent? Just think about that for a second. $35. That is how much the designer of the Nike Swish logo, one of the most famous logos in the world, was paid for it. It's just wild, right? And that feeling of shock, that surprise, is what makes that piece of information so memorable. It works with anything. Tell a kid their bed is home to millions of dust mites, and all of a sudden, microbiology is the most interesting subject in the world. And that brings us to our final technique. Number 5, the real-world problem. This one is all about giving learning a purpose, a mission. You're not just learning something for a test. You're gaining skills and knowledge to solve a real, tangible problem. I mean, just imagine a chemistry teacher starting the day by saying this. It changes everything. Suddenly, the students aren't just students anymore, are they? They're scientists, they're environmentalists, they're problem solvers on a mission that actually matters. The motivation is baked right in. All right, so we've gone through the whole philosophy. We've unpacked the 5 key techniques of the Jean-Louis method. So what's next? Well, now it's your turn to take this out for a spin with our learning challenge. And just remember, the whole point of all of this, the big goal, is to make this one simple but massive shift. We want to go from a mindset of, you must learn this, which feels like a command, to you get to discover this, which feels like an invitation. So here's your challenge, and I really want you to try this. It's super simple. First, just pick a subject. Any subject you like. Second, pick just one of the 5 tools we talked about today. Third, try to apply it to a topic. How would you hook someone into learning about the Roman Empire or calculus? And finally, and this is the best part, share what you came up with in the comments below. Let's see what we can create together. And of course, we have to give a massive thank you to Memory Grandmaster Jean-Louis for sharing these incredible, truly game-changing principles with all of us. And thank you for coming along on this journey to become better, more excited, and more motivated learners. So, we'll leave you with one last question to think about. Now that you have these tools in your back pocket, what are you going to discover today?